Hello, my name is Jared Powell. I'm a psychotherapist. I'm here with Kristin Windsor, who is a consciousness consultant. Her story, in my mind, is both remarkable and relatable.
So one beautiful thing I found through what I've discovered and what I've learned and what I've created here. So a little other part of my backstory was I went through over 10 years of being in and out of mental health care treatments. I went through every diagnosis in the book, believing that would be the path to healing. And it was amazing because during that journey, I'm like, oh my God, like finally someone's saying this is real. It's validated. There's a diagnosis. That must mean there's help. This is awesome. This is progress. And then things just kept getting worse.
Right. So relatable. So relatable, Kristin. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what I went through all that, and I'm trusting the system. Like I got this. 3 years into full-time treatment, I was prescribed 21 pills a day, and I was completely disabled, experiencing homelessness. Everything had worsened. I mean, like everything, self-harm, not being able to eat, insomnia, all of it had just blown out of such astronomical proportions. And there was just no way to even articulate what I was going through, much less be like, but there's also like no help. And they're like, well, there must be help. Like, there's hope for everything. Like, you got this. And I'm like, you don't understand. And so there just wasn't help. And so I literally came to a place where I said, mental health is not curable. This isn't something that can be cured. This is something I will be living with for the rest of my life. And that was 3 years ago. And now I am 100% symptom free of every single battle I've ever had, which the list is very long. I can include a little thing here with the list of how big the long list is of everything that I've conquered. And so the truth is, and I believe this to the core of my being, with all of my heart and with every neural pathway in my brain, I believe that every single mental health battle is capable of being completely healed, 100% eradicated, allowing the inner being of the body and brain system that is housing consciousness to be fully restored to a glory greater than it has ever known before. And the core of it, I truly believe, the core of it, every single diagnosis in the mental health field, which hundreds of them are stemming from the DSM-5, which was never intended to diagnose or treat people, just FYI throwing that in there. I believe that the core of all healing is made possible by healing attachment systems. And so here on my pyramid of personhood, attachment systems are the most unconscious aspect within subconscious realms, and they're actually the feature that connects the unconscious mind and body. And so what happens is when we're born, we have this blueprint. We have this like general blueprint of like, here's the general structure of being a person. Here, experience, fill in the gaps. And so we have this like general structure, and that's the nature part of things. And then we're born and we're like, where? I'm a baby and I need love to survive. And then like the love is like poured into the baby, and nurture takes this course, and nature and nurture collide. And there's like this dramatic collision where love sculpts us into being. Love literally sculpts our experiences of consciousness, our neurobiological applications carrying our consciousness into being. And so we develop these attachment systems, and attachment systems are comprised of the most unconscious memory systems within us, implicit, emotional, and procedural memories. And so we've got all of these memory systems in us, including in our brainstem, which happens to modulate all of our regulatory capacities, including our autonomic nervous system, including the connection between our brain and our mind and our gut, which is our second brain down in the core of our body. It connects all of these different things. It regulates us from the inside. It allows for natural self-soothing. It allows for resilience and recovery from things. It allows for a very healthy stress response. It allows for integration of brain regions, the way that the left brain is like, hi, I'm going to talk to the right brain. And then they merge and converge and connect. And the way that our forebrain, our conscious brain, our rational brain connects with the rest of our brain. Because our conscious brain, our rational brain is only 30% of our entire brain. We've got like this whole brain in our skull, and only 30% of it is the part that's like, hey, what's up? I understand rationale and logic, and like, you know, I can put things into words. No, like we've got like 70% of the rest of our brain doesn't think like that. And then we've got our gut brain, which definitely doesn't think like that. And these implicit memories that are developed through attachment systems live everywhere. They don't just live in our brainstem. So all of that is just the starter. The ganglia in our arms, the ganglia outside of here, the ganglia that's over here, like you've got mini brains all throughout your body. And all of those are affected by the development of attachment systems as nature and nurture collide. And this outpour of love flows from the caregiver into this little goo goo gaga baby over the many years and develops their neurobiological applications of consciousness. And what happens is it develops the baseline from which we experience all intrapersonal and interpersonal relationships throughout our entire lifespan. So the way that we naturally understand ourselves and all other people directly stems from the development of attachment systems. And so if we go through life and we're like, oh goodness, I'm fat and I'm ugly, that's coming from attachment systems. If we go through life and we're like, oh my God, I'm not safe and I feel tense and I feel easily anxious, that's coming from attachment systems. If we feel like, oh my goodness, like I feel like I'm one person here and I'm a totally different person over here, that's coming from attachment systems. If we feel like, oh my goodness, like I'm worthless and I'm unlovable and I'm just going to continually sell myself short because I really just don't feel like I'm worth it and I feel depressed and maybe even suicidal, that's coming from attachment systems. If we feel like we just don't have the confidence to be ourselves and we feel inadequate, like maybe we even have a speech stutter because we just don't have confidence in ourselves, just coming from attachment systems. OCD comes from attachment systems. BPD comes from attachment systems. DID. All of these disorders are really just our neurobiological applications of consciousness screaming and begging for love so that everything inside of us can flourish as it was always intended to.
Yeah, that's one thing I can definitely appreciate too, is this the curative value of really just reconnecting with, reactivating, sometimes hyperactivating attachment systems needing sort of a healing regrowth, a corrective sort of reconnect. And yeah, there's a lot of bodily impact when that happens, when people start to experience that deep inner growth. You know, when we're working with the thwarting of the attached drives, you know, these primal, deep, so primal, so deep drives within us. You know, this is really part and parcel of all sorts of corrective action and neuroplastic action that can happen. You know, and so that's definitely another thing that I really appreciated, how you connected them. What's interesting is for all my time in the mental health field, and for a portion of my career, I was sort of a bystander. I went from, you know, a therapist to an attorney and back to being a therapist. Really, there was only a paltry understanding that I had of how the same systems that involve self-regulatory correction truly connect with the attachment systems and how we heal. You know, I mean, a lot of it was a crying shame to look back and see how, when I was first learning about these things, I was learning about attachment a little too separately from the clinical aspects of healing. You know?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I had never heard of attachment systems through all of my years of psychology research, because I researched psychology for like 7 years before I ever dove into neuroscience. And when I dove into neuroscience, I still didn't hear about attachment systems. And so there's really this disconnect of understanding about how everything flows. And we're definitely on the verge of a breakthrough. Like humankind as a whole is on this verge where we are evolving into new realms of what it means to be a person. And that is going to expand human consciousness and allow for all aspects of life to thrive, including mental health. Like we're there. We're on the point where it is in the beginning of happening. Like a few hundred years from now, they're going to look back and be like, oh my goodness, 2020 was a turning point. Like we're in this time period of history in the making where we are expanding and evolving together, and the way that the mind and the body connect, and the way that emotions and health connect. Like, I was reading a book even last night about, you know, some of the bodily systems, and it's all of these big words and all of this science stuff, and then it's like, meditate and breathe deeply and think thoughts of gratitude, and I'm like, yes, this is where we are in history. This is where we are. There's no separation. You feel good, you do good, you feed your body good health, you love your body. Like, it all goes together and creates health. Like, disease is just dis-ease. It's all energy. We're just beings of energy. We're beings of vibration. Like, my colon is a vibration. My belly is a vibration. My respiratory system is a vibration. My brain is a vibration. The neural networks in my pathways, there's all vibration. My hands are vibrations. My nose is vibration. My voice is vibration. Like, we are just beings of vibration. And so if we are experiencing a vibration of pain, it doesn't matter if that's loneliness or the flu or a broken leg or a scary incident. It doesn't matter. It's vibration, and it gets stuck in the body, and you heal it by working with the energy flow of it. And when we can understand that on a deeper level and tap in, I think you mentioned the other day, just tap into some of the older ancient knowledge of healing. Like, people knew this stuff back in the day, and then something happened and we really just lost touch with who we are. Like, we are human beings. The doing comes secondary, but we're here like, I'm a human doing, that's who I am. And our health is suffering, and then we're like, oh, well, I should probably just take a bunch of pills and keep doing the same things that I'm doing and just assume it's gonna like super get better. Like, no, like, we're human beings, and we are feelings-based creatures who think. Feeling is at the core of us. That's just a neuroscientific fact. Like even just understanding that only 30% of our brain is rational, and literally every other thing in our brain and our body are based on feelings. Like, we have to get in touch with who we really are as living creatures. You know, we're not meant to it. And like, even another thing I was learning about is you can use this trick. They found that brains work better instead of having like a 8-hour workday. You work 52 minutes on and then take a 17-minute break and go through that cycle, and your ability for focus, concentration, and high quality productivity profoundly increases. And so I tried that today, and I literally have not felt so healthy in my brain and my body ever. Like, I found myself just chuckling in the middle of the afternoon because I just felt joy. And I hadn't felt that in a while. Like, I'm working, I'm here to get stuff done, I'm on a mission, I got knowledge, I got to share, I got to be important. And I'm like, wait a second, that's not who I am. That's just neurobiological programs in my brain, because my attachment systems are still healing, because my inner being doesn't know that she's already unconditionally worthy, because that's who we are. We are unconditional worth. We are worthy because we exist. We don't need to have another reason for our worthiness other than the fact that we exist. And when we can get down to that core of inner child liberation, where the depth of our attachment systems are healed into great love, what happens is our brain and our body create love from within. And so what happens is, when we have attachment systems that are hurting, the attachment systems, you can kind of picture them as like this cargo ship or whatever, like a big magnificent ship, and they've got like these hooks, and you're like casting these lines, and each line is like a hook with a magnet. And so imagine like your attachment systems are like, I'm like this super mega awesome ship, and there's all these lines being cast from this ship, and each line has a hook and a magnet. And so what happens is, you've got an attachment system that says, I need to be seen. I need to be seen. And then this hook is like, okay, I got this experience here. I'm seen in this experience. I'm seen when I share something on social media. And then your attachment system hooks into that. And then because it's hooked and stuck, the magnet pulls your ship towards that, and you're stuck to it. And you keep posting on social media, and you keep trying to feed that attachment need, and you keep posting on social media, and you keep trying to fill that attachment need. And then nothing happens. You just get more spiraled into, I'm not being seen, or I'm not worth seeing, or I need to be seen more. And it's because as long as the hooks of our attachment system are going into anything outside of us, we will be lacking what we're actually seeking. we are only ever fulfilled when that love comes from within. We got to take time to see ourselves. And so a little fun trick that people can try is, you're hanging out in your room, or you're hanging out in your office, you're hanging out in your kitchen, or some space that you frequent, okay? You're hanging out there, and you take a deep breath, and you're like, I'm going to pretend I'm an outsider and observe myself with an experience. And so you walk out of your bedroom, or you walk out of that space, and then pretend that you've never been there before. Pretend that you've never walked in this space before. You open the door. What do you see? And so maybe you walk into your bedroom, and you see decorations on the wall, and you see pictures on the wall, and you see organization in the cupboard, and you see a little messy spot on the floor, and you walk in, you're like, someone lives here. These are expressions of somebody. Those are pictures from somebody's happy moment. That's a whole wall. Someone took the time to decorate themselves. Those clothes are hung because someone took the time to fold their clothes because they appreciate what they have. And that's a little pile of mess, and I'm sure they're going to get to it. And it just shows that they're living in this space. Like, there's a beautiful person who lives here. And even little moments like that can bring so much healing to our neurobiological applications of consciousness. And we can really actually start to transform the way that we experience life and ourselves just by doing little things like that, where we shift our perspective towards love, where we have this chance to see ourselves with an experience. Yeah,
Definitely shifts away from the desensitization. Like, and I really appreciate you both bringing up the experience of taking a physical break where you just stop, and then also using your inhibitory systems to take a neural break, looking at everything with new eyes. If I'm not me, and I don't have my history, and I'm experiencing this for the first time. I mean, being able to really use the dissociative capacity of humans, I guess that may be a more dramatic way of saying just the inhibitory capacity of humans to be able to experience that sort of newness, and to be able to see things, and sometimes to see ourselves, setting aside our judgments, setting aside our history, and then to be able to see ourselves with that sort of new, fresh, outside perspective, while really being inside our skin.
Yeah.
I mean, that's healing, and it's like taking a break and allowing the reconnect. And what a thing that can do for our relationships, when we're able to see those people in our lives that we get used to and acclimated to be able to see them with new eyes, and to sometimes just see them as an outsider would. We might be able to reacquire a lot of the enjoyment and love and whatever it was that brought us to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that too, the more we can have compassion for ourselves with an experience, the more we can extend that outwards. When we take the time to be like, whoa, like, I've got like 100 trillion networks in my brain, and I've got like 1 million complex miracles occurring at any given moment in my body, and 95% of my self-essence are parts of me that I don't even directly perceive, and everyone else has that same experience. Like, everyone is their own universe. And when someone says something and it just kind of rubs you the wrong way or whatever, instead of reacting, you can take a deep breath and just be like, whoa, like, those are projections from their neurobiological applications of consciousness, where their consciousness is experiencing projections from data it trapped inside their cells from past experience, but they don't even know that. Like, pooh!
Yeah,
and just
exactly.
taking time to shift the perspectives, it gives us more of a space to respond, and to respond in love. Because if someone says something that rubs us the wrong way, and we're like, then all we're doing is feeding this fear-based energy with fear-based energy, and there's no room for love, and things just get inflamed and flared, and it activates more fear inside of us. And everything in life can boil down to love or fear. Like, all the different energetic experiences within humankind come down to one of those two energies. And if we are responding from a space of fear, we're igniting those messages in our neural network. Every moment of experience is always rewiring our brain, and we feed the neural pathways in theirs, because then they'll get more reactive, and then we wonder why there's discord within relationships. And then you walk by each other in the hallway, and there's not even words, but you can like palpably feel the resentment there. It's just because there's been this buildup of energy, and it's not even real. It can all be dissolved in love, because it's really just being generated from neural networks in both of our brains that are just like, please heal me. please love me into healing. And we have the power to do that. Like, we're not stuck. We're not ever stuck in living in the same brain that we are. We can experience ourselves in a 100% different capacity 1 year from now if we start today and choose how our neural networks are undergoing reconstructive wiring. Like, 1 year ago, I could not create new memories. I could not experience a single meal or moment of my life without chronic traumatic nation. Like, the list goes on and on and on. And here I am, happy and thriving and healthy. And I got this awesome business and I do what I love and every day is miraculous and life has never been more beautiful in my entire life. Why? Because I rewired my neural networks. And I did it without any outside help, without any outside help, which proves that it can be done. And so as much as it can help to have someone guide, if that is not a possibility, there's still hope for people. And I want everyone to know that, you know, like, if you can have someone be a healing journey guide and lead you through it, like, do that, because it's awesome to have help. But if you can't do that, it doesn't mean you're powerless. It doesn't mean you're hopeless. It doesn't mean you're helpless. You've got power in every single moment through the conscious directing of your energy. Where you choose to place your focus is what grows inside of your brain, inside your experience, and inside of your life. And so just like understanding the infinite power that we have is important. And then, like, another thing I wanted to say with that is, so within my pyramid of personhood, we've got this little, like, peak, this little top layer that is about 5% of our entire inner being. And this pyramid here shows, with the 16 aspects of personhood, it shows both our neurobiological applications and the consciousness housed within them. If you look at it with just the aspects of consciousness, you have the conscious awareness up in this top part of it, and then the rest of it in both the unconscious mind and body, or within the subconscious realms and unconscious states, are all parts of the inner experiencer. And so what's actually happening is all of our experience is being directly sensed by parts of our consciousness. Our observational self does not directly experience life. Our observational self strictly lives in our prefrontal cortex in a watchtower. And so imagine, like, there's this watchtower or like a lighthouse or some kind of like structure where you look out and you got this like light or whatever, right? And so you're up there in your watchtower and you look down, imagine like a lighthouse on the beach, okay? So there's this lighthouse on the beach and there's this super cool dude, and he's like super chilling in this lighthouse, and he's like, oh, I got this giant flashlight, it goes all the way out across the ocean. And then you've got like this whole ocean front, and there's like hundreds of people. There's hundreds of people lining the beach. There's hundreds of people surfing and swimming. There's hundreds of people on different ships out on the front. All of those are our parts of consciousness. The people swimming, the people on the boats, the people on the beach, the dude who's working really hard to write a novel on the beach, and the family who's got like the mom and the dad and the kids and the dog, and there's like chaos, but it's fun on the beach. And the person who's like, oh my God, look, it's a dog. And all of these different things going on are being experienced by life. None of the experience is happening in our observational awareness. And so we're up here in our observational awareness thinking, this is me, this is who I am, I'm going through this life experience. But that's not actually what's happening. What's happening when that's occurring is our observational self is blending with our parts of consciousness. And when that happens, we lose access to our power because we think that we are the experience. But when our observational self can be like, oh, I'm the dude in the watchtower, I'm not the person on the beach, I'm not the person on the boat, I'm not the person swimming. Oh, I get it, I'm the dude in the watchtower. Once you're up there in that lighthouse with that light, you have more ability to respond. Because if there's someone on the beach and this jellyfish comes up and is like, watch up, I'm gonna like sting you just because that's like what I do when you're here and I can. And this person gets stung, the person's like screaming and in pain and all of this stuff. And so if the dude in the watchtower is looking at that situation, thinking that they are that situation, they won't have an ability to respond. Can you imagine the dude up in the lighthouse just be like, oh my God, I'm stung by a jellyfish? Like, no, you're not. You're not. I know you think you are, but you're not. You know, you're looking at it and you think that's your experience, but it's not. And so when we can understand that our observational awareness, our conscious self, is the person up in the lighthouse or the person up in the watchtower, we have this ability to respond to the parts of our inner experiencer, who are experiencing life within our unconscious mind and body. We have this ability to harness our personal power. And when we do that, when we create space between ourself as the observer and ourself within the experience, then we literally have the power to completely reprogram any and every aspect of our brain and body, including how we breathe, how we think, how we perceive, how memories connect with themselves, how our attachment systems integrate, how our brainwave regulates itself, how brain regions integrate with one another, how our mind and our body connect. Every single thing can be reprogrammed when we ground in the power of our observational awareness.
Yeah, you know, I was really thinking. I mean, as you, I have the words of like Antonio Damasio, Alan Shore, a lot of the you know, I mean, Patricia Ogden, Peter Levine, all these brilliant people who have been sort of feeding some of the information that they've put together, and how this and all your reading, all of your research has been tied into this depth of experience, so you can really passionately and confidently both be a guide and invite people to start to develop these skills to be their own guide when they don't have somebody to help them to really have that impactful and powerful experience. And so, I mean, really, I mean, I've got to thank you for just really taking the time to both discuss this with me a bit before we started, share your materials, which, by the way, guys, I'm going to put them in the description. There's going to be links to some of her free stuff that you can just get. She's just happy to share it. She loves people being able to use this stuff on their own. And there you have it. I mean, one of the most advanced things we can do as humans is take that dude in the lighthouse and help him become connected to the feelings within, that gives so much rich information that can be brought up when it's timely to be brought up, when it's needed to both heal on an internal self-regulatory level, a relational level, and really on this broader level of consciousness that is sort of outside the realm of much of what we understand just yet. You know, except for through experience. And so thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you so much. You as well. It's been a blessed honor to connect. I'm sending love and light to every magical creature watching this video. It is a blessed honor to share sacred healing space on this beautiful planet Earth. Namaste, soul friends. The love and light in my consciousness. See and honor the love and light in your consciousness. My brain was like literally making a list of all the things I want to say, and then they all went out the window.